So, I found out that apparently Tower of Fantasy actually isn't doing very well in China. And so I saw that a guy made a video about it, and I did want to check it out. So we're going to go through this. I'm going to give my commentary because in my honest opinion, Tower of Fantasy is really, really good. And it has a picture of Genshin Impact on it. So I'm guessing they're going to be comparing the two. All right, let's watch.
Tower of Fantasy quickly become one of the most hyped game on 2022, currently gathering 3 times more viewers than Genshin Impact on Twitch. With multiple big YouTubers also covering the game before it even released, I think you will be surprised that this game is actually not very successful on China, which is where the games come from. If you look at the
Which doesn't really make
chart
sense
on
to me.
games, which is sort
But
of
okay.
place for China, you will see that Genshin is pretty much always on the top. By the way, the rank 1 is only there because the game will be released tomorrow. I assume it will drop down very quickly after a while. If you are curious about the game, I will showcase it tomorrow on my channel. It's a rather interesting game. Back to finding Tower of Fantasy on
Oops,
the
it's not like we
chart.
haven't
You can
seen
see
that
a
in
lot of familiar
gotcha
titles
games
such
before.
as Arknight, Azure Lane, Minecraft, Red Grand Order, Honkai Impact 3rd, and many others. But
I literally play like half the games that he just mentioned. Literally like half of them.
Tower of Fantasy, it's not found. It's not even in the top 50. When you search up the game, you will realize
Only 2 stars? Damn. People don't like this game. People don't like this game.
the downloads for Tower of Fantasy pales in comparison to big titles. For example, Genshin has 189 million
Yeah, but it's only 3 stars though.
downloads, and Tower of Fantasy only have 11 million. Arknight has 225
I hate that game. Arknights is a freaking sham. Okay? Don't play that game. It's a scam.
million. Honkai has 145, and Punishing Grey Raven has 70 million.
Both of those games, Honkai Impact and Punishing Grey Raven, they are great games. Great games. Fantastic character design. And I like playing them, so deserved.
This is weird because the game is not bad, so what is actually happening here? In order for me to explain what happened, we first need to understand this, the social credit system. Remember this meme?
I don't know what that means.
Well, it's not really a meme.
What is a
because the
social credit system?
does exist in China. It's a system that judges your worth based on what you do. If you do good things, you get points. If you do bad things, you deduct points.
Oh.
Just like how the government judges
citizens. Communism. That's communism.
The gamers also judge the game, not just the gameplay or graphics, but also the social responsibilities. There is a nickname for Tower Fantasy in China. Tower Fantasy in Chinese is called Huanta, but the nickname is called Tota. I roughly translated it to Tower of Death. This comes from that one Tower Fantasy promotional video for Meryl, which they steal Honkai Impact weapon asset, as shown here. Once they
Is that a weapon in Honkai? I play Honkai, and I don't recognize that weapon.
Are not actually
What?
steal Honkai Impact weapon and one Tower
Is
Fantasy
that even the same
video
weapon?
for Meryl,
Oh, it is.
not
Yeah, it
actually
is.
stupid.
It definitely
well,
is.
they remove it. Another one comes from them plagiarizing an animation video made by a small Japanese creator. As evidently shown here,
Okay, I heard about this. This was on Twitter. When Tower of Fantasy was going into beta last year, apparently like a small animator or something was celebrating like their anniversary or birthday or something. And apparently Tower of Fantasy ripped off the animation, like the movements in the animation, and practically plagiarized it. My thing is, it's advertisement, so of course it's gonna be freaking ripped off of somebody. Companies do that all the time.
you can see there's a lot of similarity. It got on so bad that even the original creator tweeted a complaint on Twitter, and of course, Tower Fantasy apologized.
Yeah, that's where I saw it from.
On a third party.
So.
Okay, fine. Promotional video are typically outsourced, so they can blame it on third party. But what about that one time where they copy Genshin 5-star reviews using a bot? So what you're seeing here is,
why would you copy Genshin Impact's 5-star reviews? They're already not very good. So what the fuck?
the review for iOS for Tower Fantasy. So before this happened, there is a very game-breaking bug happening on Tower Fantasy, which makes people review bombing Tower Fantasy and made it go down to, I think, 3.1 rating. And yeah, it's pretty bad. But suddenly the rating
What?
gone up to 4. And naturally, the people feel something is not right. And then they went on check the 5-star review. Guess what? A lot of review are pretty much done by bots. As you can see, there is a comma and a dot. This is because it's made by bot, which is why every single comment has this thing. And why is copy from Genshin? Well, this word is actually Yoimiya in Chinese.
What?
I didn't know Tower of Fantasy has
Tower of Fantasy. What the fuck, dude? You couldn't even get the right review. You grabbed a review about Yoimiya. What the fuck? Why would... What?
Yoimiya? Okay, fine. Maybe the bot is not made by the official. Maybe someone else made the bot just to screw Tower of Fantasy.
No, it was
is
probably
possible.
Tower of
Well, let's
Fantasy who
leave
made
that
the
aside
bot.
for now. Let's talk about in-game.
I wouldn't be
So, about
surprised.
this move. I don't know if it's heavily inspired or straight up just they ran out of creativity.
What do you mean?
Guess what? Honkai has this move as well. Pretty much exactly the same, except for a little bit of different.
Okay, so he wants to talk about that specifically. But at the same time, the slowdown system, air combat, and even just combo stringing is all framed off of like Honkai and similar games. Like literally, if you play Honkai Impact, which came out quite a while ago, they have the slowdown mechanic too. If you dodge at the right time, you get a time slowdown. Punishing Grey Raven has the same thing, and they're practically the same game. But you want to call this out, just this move, and say that it's plagiarism? Like, I get it, but it's like, duh. No shit.
The visual effect. Yeah. I mean, it's up to you. There's also a lot of weapons have a lot of similarities in Honkai. Is that copy or is it heavily inspired? I don't know.
Okay, in Tower of Fantasy's defense, and I don't want to just sound like a Tower of Fantasy fanboy, I've seen this style of weapon in like 18 different games, including Cyberpunk 2077. So maybe it's just me, but I don't really see the big deal.
Are they just lazy, not making their own unique weapons? I mean, it's
'Cause
up
companies
for
do this
debate.
all the
There are
time.
also a lot of servers issues during the launch.
Server issues. Yeah. Getting into a game for 2.5 hours. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The server is shit. But at the same time, too, it's an MMO. Servers are always shit in MMO games. Like, Final Fantasy 14 server freaking crashes all the time.
Launch of the game. There are like maintenance for every single day during the launch of the game. There are game break.
Okay. For maintenance every day, I do have to say, that's a good thing. Because that means they're actively trying to fix the game. Like, yes, maybe the game isn't as polished as it should have been if they had just extended the deadline. But if they're actively making fixes to the game to make it better to play, I don't necessarily see that as a bad thing. Genshin Impact should have done that. Cyberpunk 2077 should have done that more. Like, how's that a con when a game company is trying to fix their game? I don't get that.
Breaking bugs that I said just now that make the game got 3.1 rating on the Silly Game Store.
But what was the
and
bug?
I'm gonna slightly explain what the bug is
Oh.
and why a lot of whales actually left the game because of the bug. This is quite a long one.
Damn,
so
even
bear with
whales
me,
left the
So
game?
the first bug happens when people realize you can use another device to force login while you are completing a transaction on the first device, so you can get double the currency you pay for with this method.
And whales left? What? Whales left because if you whaled, you get double the currency. How does that make sense? That doesn't make sense. You get double the resources for free. Oh, I don't like that. I'm gonna leave. What kind of bullshit?
And then eventually people realized you can also use this method for dungeon reward as well. So people
You could even use it for dungeon rewards. Is this bug still live? Because 1, whale. 2, grind.
start to get insane gear by just keep refreshing the dungeon
Like,
by logging in from another device.
why does this make whales leave?
You have these
This should just be attracting more whales. What the hell? This is just giving me more of a reason to play.
artifact system where you have a lot of variables. So you can get like 5 lines of damage, or you can get.
And yeah, that's literally just ka-ching.
Tower Fantasy have that too, and people are using this bug to pretty much keep on resetting the stats. So what happened is,
Why is that a bad thing? Why is that a bad thing? So what? Tower of Fantasy developers are just generous. How's that a bad thing? Like, seriously.
a lot of people get insane gear by a very early game. I mean, people don't really have to grind every day to
That's
get
fine.
this artifact that has the top tier stats. because
That's
they
fine.
get
People
abused
have
as well.
jobs and
But of
things
course,
to do.
Tower
That should be
Fantasy went
fine.
on an emergency maintenance, and their solution is to prevent you to logging on a second device
Fuck.
if you already logged in somewhere else.
Damn
People
it.
who
Damn it. Damn it. It got fixed. Shit. Damn it. I would have exploited the hell out of that bug.
abused the bug before are banned. Not long after,
Oh, they got
people
banned.
realize another bug again, which
Wait. I'm sorry for pausing a lot, by the way, but so whales didn't leave. They got banned. Like, I don't think a whale is going to leave for these problems. If anything, they'd stick around longer for these bugs. So they didn't leave. They were forced to. Like, they got banned. What are you supposed to do about that?
you can get unlimited SSR weapon. So I wouldn't get into how they do it. Basically, they have something about messing with internet connection and the game client. They could like claim the item and then turn off the internet connection, and then after they turn back the internet connection, they will have another SSR weapon. Something like that, right? So turns out some people started to have all the weapon without even paying for the game. And of
That's
course,
good.
all the whales are really angry because people spend money to pull, but some free-to-play player just got them for free. But of course, after Tower
I'll give you a minute. You're all good, Phoenix. But my thing is, whales, you can't freaking complain. What the fuck? Like, yeah, you spent money, but that was your deliberate choice. You did that. You're the one who spent the money. A free-to-play who somehow finds a way to get more resources or more characters, or to have every character, dude, just sucks for you. Maybe you shouldn't have wailed all that much. Maybe you shouldn't have been so impulsive. I'm speaking to myself here too. But, like, tough shit, dude. Like,
Fantasy
What?
found this out. They do an emergency maintenance again. They close their server down, and
they fix the
repair,
bug.
And you can kind of imagine what
Let me
will
guess, they
happen
banned
here.
them.
The whale are angry. The players can't play the game because there's constantly
That's funny.
maintenance.
Yes, it is, because
the
it's
bug of this
stupid.
game is
It's
very
so
plentiful.
stupid.
Like, they fixed the bug, but then after the maintenance is over, people just found out another bug, and they have to emergency maintenance again. I mean, it's funny because after the server repair, people found out another way to dupe the compensation over and over again, and people even started to use cheat engine to duplicate rewards.
Cheat
And
engine?
you have so much bug that sure, some people might get banned, but there evidently some people just didn't get banned and enjoy all those free currency. And even mentioning the bug or whatever on the chat, the
What?
chat, will get you a 1-year meal. And there are
people got banned for a year? Or is it banned? I don't know. He said yield. I don't know if that necessarily means banned. I'm pretty sure that means banned, but they were banned for a year for just mentioning it in chat. What the fuck? Like, this bug, that's Pog. I would do that, because it's just free shit. But, like, what?
player just talking about it, not even like abusing the bug or anything. They got muted and they cannot talk.
Oh,
in the game.
muted.
A lot of people are just straight up disappointed in the game. Whales are not happy. They want a refund for the game because they spend money, but then this is what they get treated for.
Again, if a whale is getting upset because they spent money and someone else didn't have to, that's bullshit. Okay? If a whale spent money, they spent money. Bottom line. If someone else gets another unit, even if it is through buggy means, fuck it. Who cares, dude? You chose to spend that money. You chose to be impulsive. So, freaking get over it.
Some other guy don't even
I know that
need to
may be a
spend
hot
money,
take,
they
but
get all the stuff. And yeah, the game has a lot of problems during the launch of the game, and that caused a huge wave for people pretty much.
It's an
just
MMO
left the
though.
game to make
MMO games are
videos
of course going to
complaining
have a
about
lot
it.
of
People
problems
know
on
about
launch
them,
day.
and people
Like, oh my god. I have never heard of an MMO that has a stable launch ever. Like, even I was around when Final Fantasy 14 came out. Like, and when it was a dog shit game, right? This was when it first came out. And literally, I watched streamers and YouTubers try to log in on launch day, and it was a freaking nightmare. So it's not uncommon.
are disappointed. Even not talking about these game-breaking bugs, there are still a lot of minor bugs exist in the game, such as you can float by doing something, I don't know.
Whoa,
For the
that was
China
cool.
version of the game currently, there is a Battle Royale mode. And guess what? There are a lot of hackers in the Battle Royale as well. So leave the technical things aside.
Then maybe you shouldn't be playing Battle Royale games. That's just my opinion because I don't like Battle Royale games. I'm not good at them. But, hey, just saying.
There's also a very fundamental design flaw of the game, which is
That looks
the
like a
game,
crazy
although being
little
an
bug,
MMO,
though.
is actually quite pay to win. Now, the pay to win aspect of the game is not very apparent, but the power creep on Tower Fantasy is actually very strong.
What did you just say? What's this guy's name? Nerfa me. Okay, he is a bigger content creator than me, but so he's not gonna see this, and he probably doesn't care. But the game isn't pay to win, but yet there's power creep, and it's a gotcha game. My chatters can attest to this too. They get some pretty good drops for their free pulls. They did. Phoenix, Jay, Doggy, you guys got some really good drops for Tower Fantasy. And you guys are free to play. I'm a whale. And look at, and what did I get? A lot. So saying that the game isn't pay to win is just blatantly wrong. Especially when you follow it up by saying that there's power creep. Like, the game is definitely pay to win. It's a gacha game. All gacha games are pay to win. Literally, you just pay for the character and you get it early. That's such a dumb comment.
Power creep might be fine for game like waifu collectors or
This
majority
is a
single-player
waifu
game,
collector.
but it is not a very good thing to have on an MMO that have
True.
PvP.
I
which
agree.
pretty
I
much
agree.
Strength is everything. And if you are a free-to-play player and you want to keep up when they keep on introducing power creep, well, guess what? You cannot keep up. It's just impossible to keep up. But actually, the most important reason why Tower Fantasy is not popular on China is actually because the game itself.
Okay, I'll get into what he just said in a second. But yeah, see? Phoenix, 5 SSRs, free to play, with 4 days of playing since launch. Like, yeah, the game is pay to win, but it's not like it's not generous. Like, it's not like the game doesn't give you every avenue to get there, you know? And then on top of that as well, he said something about getting ranked, right? And like, oh yeah, it's pay to win. I will say this now, for those of you guys who don't know and you guys are watching this video. Ranked PvP in Tower Fantasy is automatically scaled and automatic. All of your characters are set max stars. So when you play in ranked Tower Fantasy, in PvP, if you have like a C1 or excuse me, a 1 star of like, let's say a Samir, the second you go into ranked PvP, it jumps up to C6 or, goddamn it, I keep doing that. 6 stars. So there's really no excuse. It's at that point it's skill based. Now I will preface that by saying open world PvP is character based or pay to win because if it doesn't normalize the stars. Whatever you have, you play with. But still, like if you want a higher rank, you still have the ability to. There's nothing stopping you unless you just don't have any SSRs. And even then, some of the SRs are fine.
The game actually pulled a lot of Genshin player toward it because it has a lot of similarity with Genshin. And believe it
I
or
agree.
not, they actually advertise themselves as the Genshin Impact killer. I mean, the post is already removed because of how stupid it is.
In
once
my
the
honest
guys
opinion,
posted
it is a
Also
Genshin
say
killer.
It's like the
But
game award winners, like, oh my god. A lot of controversy.
I'll get into
but
what I was
let's
about to say in
forget
just a
all about
second.
the controversy. Let's forget all about the bugs and the pay-to-win aspect of the game. The game is not polished, and I think
Okay, that I can excuse. What do you mean the game isn't polished? Like, I will agree that it's not as good as it could be. It's not. But I wouldn't say that the game isn't polished. Like, I think the game is pretty well polished. At least in the global version. Like right now, yeah. But with his comparisons to Genshin, and this is what I was going to say earlier, like comparing the two games, although even I did it in my review video, they're two different games. One is a single player game, the other is an MMO. They're appealing to two different audiences here. They just look the same. Like, I've already seen commenters and other people saying that, oh yeah, Tower of Fantasy just isn't for me. And it's because it's an MMO game. Other people say that Genshin isn't for them and they would prefer Tower of Fantasy because Genshin is a single player game. So the way that they normalize everything, the way that they do their balances, it's completely different. The way they polish the game is completely different. And if he's talking about polish, comparing it to Genshin Impact, Genshin isn't freaking polished. Look at Amber. Look at certain characters as Yoimiya's internal cooldown. Like, that's not polished. Like, the game is still really good. I still love Genshin. But at the same time, there's so much that MiHoYo or Hoyoverse could do to fix the game, to make it better. If you try co-op in Genshin Impact, it sucks. It's buggy, it's laggy, it's not good. But of course, that's because it's a single player game. So what do you expect out of an MMO? Especially one that was built for mobile. Like, it's a mobile MMO. I don't understand the whole, oh, it's not polished, or oh, it doesn't stand up to Genshin Impact. Like, it does. They just reach to different audiences, so they have to balance differently. It's two completely different systems.
I think this is actually the main reason why Tower Fantasy is not popular, because this game is so similar to Genshin Impact, and
Yeah.
Genshin Impact has a huge player base. And a lot of players from Genshin go ahead to try Tower Fantasy, realize, wow, Genshin is so much better. They drop the game. I mean,
How?
if you play the game, you'll realize the combat just feels cheap. The world
What?
is
What? The combat is cheap? What do you mean the combat is cheap? The combat system, like, okay, I will say I talked it up in my review of the game due to hype, but even still, like, the game's combat is still free flowing. It has a lot of motion to it. You can dodge in midair. You have air combos. You can airstrike. You can tie in different combos together for different weapons. Like, in Genshin, you don't have that. In Tower of Fantasy, you can switch weapons while jumping. Genshin Impact, you can't even do that. Like, you have to be on the ground and not fighting in order to switch characters. Like, you need that split second of reaction time to be able to switch between characters. And in Genshin Impact, yeah, of course, it's going to have really good combat. It's a single player game. You're only fighting against monsters. That's it. You don't need a lot. Like, you'll ask any Genshin Impact, like, YouTuber, and they'll tell you the same thing. Like, you could complete the game with the most basic units, just as long as you know what to do. So that doesn't mean the combat is that great. Like the combat is good. It is good. But and here's the main thing that pops off the top of my head. In Genshin Impact, it's all you have to use your skills. Your skills are your main damage dealt. Skills and ult, right? Your E and your Q. That's the main way you deal damage. No one in the game normal attacks other than maybe Yoimiya. That's not the case in Tower of Fantasy. In Tower of Fantasy, you normal attack the majority of the time and you just string in your E. That's it. And then you string in your other weapons. Like the combat systems, although similar, are very different when you really get down to it. So, like, what do you mean by saying that the combat is cheap? It's just different than Genshin. Like, he keeps comparing it to Genshin, and I'm like, dude, one, it's not that serious, and two, Genshin Impact isn't even that great of a game. I love the game, but, like, seriously, it's not even that great. If you're looking for good combat, go to Honkai Impact. Honkai Impact has way better combat. Like, seriously,
Actually
what?
not bad. I like the world in Tower Fantasy, but the combat just doesn't feel polished. The 2D characters design is also not great. I mean,
For one, that's subjective. Like, of course, all of this is subjective. It's all his opinion. But for one thing, okay, just because you don't know how to play the game, which I'm assuming he doesn't, seeing that clip just now, if that was him fighting, he didn't do a very good job using that spear. Let's be honest. So I don't think it's necessarily that the combat is bad. I think he is. But for the 2D characters, like, you're telling me that Venti looks better than this. I know it's all opinion based, but I'm just saying the art style is perfectly fine. There's other gacha games with way worse. I've seen way worse. This is very good. This is really good freaking character design. Like, you see like King, Samir, Meryl, and stuff like that. They have fantastic character design. So what do you mean the 2D characters don't look good? Like, what? Like, I don't understand this guy's point. I feel like he's just biased because he likes Genshin.
I play a lot of gacha game, waifu games. A lot of games have fantastic
Yeah,
art,
so
but
do
Final
I.
Fantasy, I feel they lack a lot of appeal, and
In
it's such a
what-
shame because they
In sex appeal? Is that what you're at? Is that what you're saying, dude? Like they lack in sex appeal? Because I don't really get what you're saying in lacking in appeal. Like, dude, they're like cybernetic android half human cyborgs, dude. Like, it's unique. Yeah, right. Freaking imagine. Like, okay, I'm not gonna lie. NA's design is meh. It's mid. I'll be honest. But that's just this design. The hammer, the way the ice comes out, all this right here, that's beautiful. Genshin Impact doesn't even show scenery unless they're freaking Archons. Like with Genshin Impact, when you summon a character, it's just the character itself. There's no detail. There's really no depth unless they're an Archon. You see Zhongli's design, he has a background. Venti doesn't even have a background. Raiden Shogun has a background. Like, Genshin Impact has some fantastic character design, but I would put this at the same level. Just because of its detail, its difference, its uniqueness.
clearly are a high budget game. Why not invest more into the character design? I'm not sure. Basically, the social credit of Tower Fantasy doesn't look so good. So my prediction for the global version of Tower Fantasy is pretty much the same. People are currently getting hyped for the game because this game shares a lot of similarity to Genshin Impact, and Genshin player will try the game just to realize the game is not as good as Genshin. And it's not Tower Fantasy's fault, honestly. It's just because Genshin is too good. Genshin is too ambitious, and other company simply cannot compete. Don't take this video as me telling you not to play the game. I'm just here to see currently on gacha game, they are doing alright. Although I'm not.
He says that Genshin Impact is just too good, is just too ambitious. In what freaking aspect? The current event right now is literally jumping platform to platform and then into the water. Like, I'm not gonna lie, Genshin Impact has its moments, especially with Sumeru coming up. It looks great when the content is there. Like, Genshin is not ambitious. If it was ambitious, it would listen to its player base. If the game was ambitious, it would keep some of the game modes, like hide and seek, build your own obstacle course. But it doesn't. It doesn't keep any of that. It just has the same stale gameplay. Like, I love playing the game, but I'm not gonna lie, it's boring now. Unless there's an event going on. Saying Genshin Impact is too good, in what aspect? Like, where is it too good? Because I can agree with you. Genshin Impact is a great game. I love playing. But at the same time, where does it excel where Tower of Fantasy lacks? Like, where's the discrepancy here? Because Genshin Impact, again, is a single-player game focused on character collection, like any other gacha game. But at the same time, they have the same combat. Nothing changes. They're stuck to the same weapon types constantly. The character archetypes are predictable. The storyline takes a long-ass time to just progress. And, like, you don't get as much release in that, you know? But even just playing 3 to 4 days in Tower of Fantasy has practically all the same shit. Time gating. Character design is good. Combat, like, is good. Like, but they're two different games. Like, I agree with the fact that, yes, it's getting a lot of hype now, but it's going to die down. But that's every freaking game. Like, I disagree with his opinion on how much impact there's going to be on the player base. Like, I'm not going to lie. I already know people are going to be leaving Tower of Fantasy because it's just not for them. But I don't think it's going to be because Genshin is so much better. Because it's not. Let's all be honest here. Genshin Impact is a great game, but it is not as great as people think it is. Because guess what? Hoyoverse are scumbags. They don't like the players. They don't give a shit about players. If they did, they'd change the game. But they don't. And it's going to be the same thing with Tower of Fantasy. It's all the same. It's just going to have some shitty developers who don't listen to the freaking community. And the game's just going to stagnate. So yeah. But I don't think it's that bad, you know? And I definitely don't think Tower of Fantasy is a lesser game to Genshin Impact. At all. But with that, guys, for YouTube and stream, I'm going to be cutting off there. It's getting kind of late, and I think everybody here should at least either eat dinner or go to bed. So everybody watching, I thank you guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave your thoughts in the comments below, because I would love to hear it on this video. I don't know. This video kind of left me kind of mad, honestly, especially after being scared. I'm just feeling all sorts of negative emotions. But hey, what can you do? Anyway, I'll see you guys in my next video or on stream at twitch.tv/dorkcasualgaming. Please consider liking, following, subscribing, all that good jazz. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!